recently started saying something and then stopped halfway through because I noticed that the other person's facial expression changed. Has this ever happened to you? Maybe they sighed, maybe they looked disappointed, and suddenly you weren't thinking so much about what you were saying anymore. You're trying to figure out what they're feeling. And it is in those moments, those really small moments that I've seen happen so much, is explaining more than we realize. And since then, I have noticed this is happening more often than not, just about everywhere. Now, within my work as a licensed mental health therapist, I've seen this in marriages, I've seen it amongst parents, I've seen it within friends, and yes, I've even seen it online within social media. Now, I don't think this is random. I know this is learned from somewhere. Now, years ago, I heard someone talking about a book, and it was called People Can't Drive You Crazy If You Don't Give Them the Keys. And what did I do? I added it to cart, and I loved it because basically it covered emotional keys that we often hand over. Now, I love the core idea. I love the momentum I got from it. And though I fully understood it, I always assumed it meant setting the boundaries, not letting people cross them, and not letting difficult people try to control you, not even within a romantic relationship. Now, is this good advice? Yeah, of course. But lately, I started wondering if that's really where the story begins for most of us. Now, what if you decided to wake up one day and suddenly say, you know what? I'm not handing over my keys to anyone. No, I'm not. And if this is something that we've been practicing since childhood, how successful can we be at it? Now, I want to take you down memory lane. Now, think back when you first learned to drive. It was scary, right? But I remember my dad teaching me while sitting on his lap around the age of 6, things that registered and stuck with me. I remember how every movement took effort, right? Hands on the wheel. I got my little feelings wheel here. Well, this is the feelings wheel, but I got my feelings wheel here. Hands on the wheel. Tiffany, can you see the mirrors? The brakes are down here. Here's the signals for you to be able to change lanes. I remember him telling me all these things, and, we're thinking about everything in that moment. And then eventually, driving becomes automatic. You're a pro. You don't have to think about every decision. Sometimes you may be on autopilot and we just drive home and not even recall how we got there. And our emotional lives work just the same way. Now, I want you to think about when you were about 6 years old. If you would start crying, maybe before someone would even ask you what was wrong, someone may say, stop crying, right? You're a little too old for this now. Use your words. Or maybe if you're upset, maybe you would hear, you need to calm down. Or maybe if you disagreed with them, whoever was a parent, a teacher, you heard you were being so disrespectful. Maybe someone even said something like, you're hurting my feelings. And as children, those thoughts get registered. And no, we don't walk around analyzing our parents. We just are trying to understand the world we live in and how it works. So little by little, you know what happens? We start to learn that there are emotional rules to our behaviors and our actions. These are where the keys come in. And one thing I've been thinking about in all of this is that our nervous system, our nervous system doesn't write down paragraphs. It writes shortcuts to be able to get us to have the fastest outcome that is most sustainable. So every repeated experience becomes a rule. And maybe your rules became, my feelings hurt people, or it's safer to stay quiet, or should I keep everyone happy? Or maybe other people's emotions matter way more than mine. Now, we all have heard or maybe held onto versions of those and may have changed it over the years. But whether these are the exact words or not for you or for me, this kind of became our emotional driver's manual in a way. And as the years go by, these rules don't disappear. No, they just got quieter. You know what? They start sounding like our own thoughts. Now, these thought rules have been operating, and now they're telling us, watch someone's face before you finish the sentence. If something looks off, stop, try to fix it. Or maybe you're even apologizing before even asking what you want based on their expression. Or how about this? How about you're rewriting emails, rewriting and saying it doesn't sound right, or deleting social media posts, something that you feel strongly on, but you just need someone to have some reassurance, or maybe not even recording your YouTube video. I've been a victim of that multiple times. Listen, holding back your own opinion, this happens because our nervous system listens to those rules, not because something is wrong with us. No, it's just listening to the programming. It's heard year after year. And along the way, guess what? Your nervous system learned that someone else should be doing the driving. That's why we're more inclined to hand over the keys. Now, I'm not about blaming parents here, as most parents are driving with the maps they inherited themselves. But I do know that we can change without becoming selfish. It's about learning something many of us was never taught, how to hold on to the keys without running other people over. So the next time you stop yourself halfway through a sentence because you're watching someone else's facial expression, recognize what's happening and don't overthink it. Just know that you've been following this emotional driver's manual for years, and it was written long before you knew you had a choice. And know that the first step isn't trying harder. No, it's simply understanding why you've been handing over your keys in the first place. Now, once you understand where this pattern came from, you finally get to decide who drives. This is me thinking out loud, trying to make sense of things I've noticed recently. And I would like to know what came up for you while you were listening. Leave it in the comments below. I have a feeling we're going to learn a lot from each other. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. If you can do me one thing that won't cost you much, please subscribe to my videos and ring the notification bell so you can come back and watch as I continue to record my video diaries of me talking out loud. Take care.